All right. Welcome to day 3 of our Manifest with Certainty challenge. I'm so excited because what we've talked about on day 1, what we talked about on day 2, it culminates with day 3 in the art of manifestation. Because you guys, the law is the law is the law. How we individually apply the law is really where the fun and the magic and the excitement happens, right? But this analogy came up today in our coaching group, and I want to utilize it here because it's so it just is so it was just such a great analogy, and I've used the analogy before, but the way it got unpacked this morning was so cool. So I want you to imagine my 16-month old grandbaby. Okay. His dad coaches football. Let me just start there. So if he walks into a room and there is a TV on or off, he looks up and he goes, "Football." And I'm like, "Yes, that's my boy, football." And then when the team runs across the goal line, he goes, "Touchdown." It's so cool. It's so beautiful. It's so fun. At 16 months old, he's already starting to grasp something called this sport or a sport that we call football, right? Now, I want you to imagine Tom Brady, because if you don't know who Tom Brady is, he is probably one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. Whether you like him personally or not, let's not talk about that. But you cannot argue that he is one of the best quarterbacks ever to play the game. He, I think, has 7 Super Bowls, 9 Super, I don't know, a lot, at least 7 though. And I want you to think about him at 16 months old, right? Going football, touchdown, right? But then he got a little bit older, and then he started understanding, oh, there's an offense and there's a defense. And then he started learning that there's, I don't know how many different positions, right? There's the right tackle and the left tackle and the center and the quarterback and the receiver and the running back and the tight end. And then that's just, I think, the offense. And then there's the defense and the defensive line and like all the parts, right? And as he grew, he would learn more and more about the game of football, right? But he had to learn that that football was a game. Then he learned that there were rules to the game. Then he learned that there were different parts, and the more he went on, the more he learned. But when he started playing the game, right? Because we can watch and see there's a game going on, and then we can start playing the game, right? Now, he can learn all the rules and never play the game. He could learn all the rules and then play the game and suck at it. He could learn all the rules, play the game, and be really good at it. He could know the rules, play the game, recognize that he sucks at it, and go, "I'm never going to play the game again." Right? Or he could learn all the rules, play the game, suck at it, and go, "Man, but I love playing. So even if I suck at it, I'm going to keep playing." Or he could learn all the rules, start playing the game, suck at it, want to get better, and then keep practicing and keep practicing and get feedback and keep practicing and get feedback and keep practicing and get feedback and get better and better and better and better, right? And there are kids that play through junior high and go, "Okay, high school, I'm going to focus on my grades." There are kids who play through high school and go, "Oh, now it's college. I got to get a job. I got to get it, or they're not talented or skilled enough to play in high school or to play in college. So they don't play at college. There's lots of kids that play in college that never make it to the NFL. There's lots of people who make it to the NFL and don't ever get to play in a championship game. There's some that play in lots of championship games but never win the Super Bowl, right? There's so many elements and aspects and all of the things, right? So there's a couple factors that I want you to think about in all of this, right? So the first thing is there's football's a game. It's a game. Now, for some people, it stays just a game that they play for leisure, they play for fun, maybe they play for competition, and sometimes they play for a lot of fucking money, right? But it's still a game nonetheless. But the meaning that we place on it becomes different, right? Then there's all these different positions. Now, there's some kids that are skilled in certain positions. And so a coach might look at that and go, you're super skilled for this position. Let's get you playing this position. And they learn about the position and they learn the way to stand and they start getting really well and they really harness their talent with some skill and they practice and they get really good at it. And then they move to another coach and the coach goes, oh, actually, you know what? I see this other aspect. And I can't remember who it was, but there was somebody who played I don't know who it was. I was sitting here. Could I figure it out? I don't care. It doesn't matter. All through even college, he played a particular, or maybe it was all through high school. And then he got to college, but he had played a particular position. And then he got to college and his college a coach said, man, I actually think you're a quarterback. And he had just been told you're a great receiver, a tight end, or whatever it was that he was this other position. And then somebody spoke into his life and said, actually, I see you as a quarterback. And he switched positions and he killed it. Like he was really still good at this other position, but then man, he found his groove and he found his genius and he just killed it. And then he went into the NFL and now is doing amazing or something, or he was amazing. I don't, again, me and details, you guys, you get the gist of the story, right? But all along the way, there was, here's the rules, here's the game, here's the rules, what aspect of the game do you want to play, what position, right? But there's an offense and there's a defense. There has to be two opposing parts, right? One's not better or worse. There's no position that's better or worse because that person might have gone, oh my gosh, you're a quarterback. And they're like, quarterback, right? But guess what? If he doesn't have any receivers, it doesn't matter how good a quarterback is. If he doesn't have a line that protects him, it doesn't matter how good of a quarterback he is, right? Every single part, every single player is vital and valuable and essential for the experience of the game. And now, you guys, I don't know, but I heard somebody paid $10,000 for a ticket to the Super Bowl, $10,000 for a ticket to watch a 3-hour game, guys. Right? There's so many aspects and elements to this thing that we call football, right? But if we think about really the foundation and the fundamentalness, one, it's a game. It is a game. At the end of the day, guys, it's a game. Okay. There's rules to the game. And if you don't play by the rules, you either eventually nobody wants to play with you, nobody likes you, or you get penalties. Okay. There's consequences, there's feedback. Sometimes the feedback is, hey, dude, it's from a coach, right? And they're like, hey, dude, you can't do that. And they go, oh, okay, yeah, okay, I won't do that. And they make the adjustment and they don't do it anymore. Sometimes you're just so caught up in the game, right? I sometimes look at college players and they make really dumb mistakes, like they like target or they hit him in the wrong place or they do. And from the outside, we could go, oh, that guy's a jerk. I can't believe him. But he's a kid, right? And he's in the energy and the emotion and the adrenaline of the game. And I bet he didn't wake up that morning going, I think I'm going to figure out who I can target so I can get kicked out of a really important game and put my team in jeopardy. Nobody's doing that, right? Nobody's doing that. And so there's feedback about what's appropriate, what's not appropriate, what's beneficial, what's not beneficial, right? There's a direction we want to go. We want to go towards our goal, right? We can be going towards a goal, but if it's the opponent's goal, that's not good news, right? We have to know what direction we're going, where we want our focus, right? All the things. Then even Tom Brady, after he won his first Super Bowl, guess what, guys? He still practiced every day. He still practiced every day. Okay. He still worked out when he wasn't practicing. Okay. So then there's the element of we can practice, right? And we can throw the perfect throw and catch the perfect catch and do the perfect, all the things. But then when we get in the emotion of the game, when we're actually in the sensation, remember we talked about on day one, intention, attention, imagination, sensation, manifestation, right? So in the game, there's a whole different realm of sensation that's happening. And now let's talk about those saboteurs, right? Now the saboteurs enter in day two, right? We talked about our saboteurs. If we don't understand that that's what's going on in the midst of the game, then guess what? We're like, well, I must be an idiot because I can throw the ball perfectly when nobody's running at me, right? When there's no opposition running at me, I can throw the ball perfectly. Okay, but if you throw the ball perfectly every time, eventually you're going to be like, well, this is lame. This is lame, right? But when you get in the game and somebody's running at you and you throw the ball and then they catch it, right? There's so much excitement because we're overcoming this opposition to a point where we're like, yay, we won the game. Or, man, I played my heart out. My mom was telling me about, I think it was last Thursday night's game. Maybe it was Sunday. I don't know. It was a game. And she said the two teams that were playing were like both bottom of the barrel. Neither one of them have any chance for playoffs. They're not going to the Super Bowl. She goes, it was one of the best games I've ever seen. Right? Guys, sometimes when we take out those saboteurs and we remember it's just a game, it's amazing and it's so fun. And we're actually playing at a higher level because our saboteurs aren't getting in the way, right? We're just out there having fun playing a game, right? So now here's Tom Brady and he's practicing and he's practicing. Then he gets in the thick of a game, right? Now, my son only coaches, not only, he coaches at a high school level, right? But even at a high school level, guys, there's no money involved. And I guess that's where it came to the only, no money involved, right? But here he is. And before every game, they watch film of their opponent. And they go, okay, this dude likes to throw deep bombs. So now we need to prepare our defense for the deep bomb, right? Or this team, they run 95% of the time. Okay, we need to really bulk up our line so that we can defend our goal, right, from their running game, right? Now, they can watch all the film, they can do all the things, but guess what? Then those players, they get into the game. It changes. I can be so prepared in my mind. I can know exactly what that dude's going to do. But if my saboteurs are like, you better get it right, you better tackle that guy, people are going to think you're an idiot. People are going to know if you missed a block, you better get it right. Right? All that pressure, all that sensation in our nervous system is going to make our body do different things based on responding to what we cognitively are aware of because we watch the film, right? Now we're doing something different in the game. And then after the game, guess what they do? They watch the film from the game and they're like, okay, where's your mind? What can we do different? What can we work on? What can we practice more of? Right. And all the while, there's the coach that sees from the 35 degree, what is that? Bird's eye view, whatever it is. From the bird's eye view, right? The coach is overlooking, going, "Ooh, yeah, you know what? Your mind was in the right place until you got into the game, and then that emotion got in, and you got caught up because you were afraid to disappoint people, or you were afraid of looking like a fool, or whatever. So, okay, like, what do you want to do different? Or let's focus on how did you kill it in this game? Yeah, okay, we lost, but what did we do well? What did we do that like is above and beyond what you did before you played in this game, right? How did you improve from the last game? And now what do we want to do different? Now we make a new plan, but you guys, guess what? You can make the best plan and you can watch all of the videos of your opponent before the next game. But when you get in the game, It's going to be different, right? But all along the way, now here's a couple things I want you to be aware of. If I'm in it to play the game and I love the game, all of these things are just part of playing the game. But if I think the only result is winning, I'm going to have a whole lot less fun playing the game. I'm going to have a whole lot more pressure on myself. I'm going to make more mistakes. Why? Because I did or didn't do something? No, because that's what I'm going to focus on. I'm going to focus on all my mistakes and where I wasn't perfect in order to get it perfect so I can always win. Right? Or I can go, oh, yeah, I made a mistake right there. I got a penalty flag. Oh, my coach said, you know what? You think that you're going to the left, but really you step to the right first. I remember, my past career, I did nails. And I got to a point where I was actually traveling all over the world teaching people how to do nails. If you can imagine that, it's a real thing. It was beautiful. It was amazing. I love that part of my life. But we were a gel company. And at some point in time, our company bought an acrylic company. So then, because I was an international trainer, I had to learn how to teach people now the acrylic as well as the gel. With the gel, I could have taught anyone anything all the time. Like I killed it. I know I killed it. I knew I was fantastic. I knew I was at the top of my game. But when you gave me acrylic, I'm like, it's just not clicking. It's just not clicking. And I knew all the rules, guys. I knew all the rules. I learned all the chemistry, all the things. And the end result was not the end result that other people were getting. There was a disconnect, right? And so I asked one of the gals that I worked with, who was very, very good at doing acrylic. I said, I want to watch you. And I just want you to talk me through step by step by step by step. And she was like, okay. So she's like, okay, first you do this, you dip it in here, and then you do this. And I go, wait, what did you just do? She goes, oh, I dipped it in here and then I took it out. I said, no, there was something in between. And she's like, no, there wasn't. I'm like, no, there was. Just don't say any words. Do it again. And so she started doing it very naturally. It was just, and I go, that right there, what did you just do? She goes, oh, well, I pressed a little bit with my brush up against the side of the jar. And then some of the liquid came out. I go, I'm not doing that. Because guess what? That wasn't part of what we were told to do. It was dip your brush, lay it on the side, do this. But if here's the jar, laying it on the side, but this is what we were taught, laid on the side. But what she did was pull it up as she laid on the side. So it actually took more liquid out of the brush, which then when she went to put it in the powder to make the consistency, it was a completely different ratio. Well, as soon as I started doing that, guess what? I started doing great acrylic nails, right? But I needed to be the outside observer. I needed her to not talk and tell me what she thinks she's doing, but to actually just watch what she's doing and be intimate into what she's doing, right? There needs to be somebody from the outside looking in. And sometimes I need to be the one outside looking in, right? So it's the same thing with playing a game, right? There's things that somebody's doing that their coach says, ooh, yeah, you think you're doing this, but actually you're doing this, right? You think you're just pressing on the side, but actually you're pressing and pulling at the same time. Two completely different results, right? So there's all these facets and there's all these aspects of the game. Okay. One of the things we talked about yesterday, and we hinted about it on day one. We talked about it a little bit in day two. What we're going to spend more time talking about in today is, am I in right standing? Where's my focus? Because I could play this game all day long, but if I don't know that I'm already successful, I will come against opposition and quit. If I don't believe that I'm capable of playing the game, I fail at 10 games in a row and I quit. I stop doing the thing. I stop showing up. I stop being present, right? And if I'm watching those films after the game, right? And I'm like, ooh, I messed up there. Ooh, I made a mistake there. Ooh, look, I was an idiot there. And ooh, I should have done that different. If that's my focus, guess what I'm going to keep doing more of? Attention or intention, attention. Right? What's my attention on everything I'm getting wrong, everything I'm getting wrong, everything? Well, guess what? I'm causing more and more wrongness of me because I'm focused on what's wrong with me. Or I can look back at the film and I can go, ooh, yeah, yeah, I'm aware of that. And I'm capable of making an adjustment. So I'm going to make that adjustment for the next game. But guess what? I don't know that I've actually embodied that change until I practice. And then I get in the game and I allow the feedback to now reveal back to me what I've actually solidified as a greater version of me with new skills. Guys, guess what? Look me in my left eye. Let me just tell you, this is no different. Life is no different. Welcome to the motherfucking game, right? What is your presupposition? That it has to be hard, that life's a bitch and then you die. What is your presupposition? I will propose to you that shifting your presupposition to this is a game and it's supposed to be fun and exciting and I get to learn more and more every day, and everything I do today is tomorrow's feedback for how I was functioning and how I can make changes, and I can plan ahead all I want and I can prepare myself all I want. But when I show up in the game, there's going to be different emotions because somebody's running right at me or somebody's trying to catch me. And then guess what? I'm going to do the best I can. But every single second of every single day, I am doing the very best I can. I am the very best version of myself at any given moment of time. And if that's my presupposition, I will always, always win. Always. If my presupposition is something else, now it's a crapshoot. Now, maybe I win, maybe I lose, maybe I'm successful, maybe I fail, maybe, I don't know, crapshoot. Now I'm going to reel you back. If you've ever heard anything about God or the Bible or any kind of religious anything, well, for us in America, Christianity usually, but even if you're not Christian, we've heard of the garden. There's two trees, right? There's the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and then there's the tree of life. If we are eating off the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, we're always trying to figure out, am I good? Am I bad? Am I right? Am I wrong? Is that good? Is that bad? Is that good for me? Is that? And here's the chaos. Or we can eat off the tree of life that says, this is a motherfucking game. Let's go play. Let's go play. Tree of life. And every single part, the seed already encompasses all of the information to produce fruit. It produces in like kind. A seed produces in like kind. This is our presupposition. And if my presupposition is that my identity is made in the image of God and I am successful, guess what? I will never lose no matter what shows up outside of me. Yes? Is this sexy or what, y'all? Now I start to eat off the tree of life that says the seed is perfect. And when the seed breaks open, it's perfect. And when the seed stays under the ground for a long time because it's breaking open and it's creating all these danglies, it's perfect. And when the little sprig comes up, that's perfect too. And when the sprig goes like this into a bigger sprig, that's the best version of this guy right now in this time and space. And then it gets a little bit bigger. And then we go, this is perfect in this time and space, in this moment. This is complete and perfect. And there's more. And then we start to branch off and create branches. And the leaves start to show in every single second of every single moment of this sweet little plant's life. It is the greatest version of itself at that moment. And simultaneously, there is always more, because now after the branches grow and the leaves grow, produces fruit. And remember that whole, what God said after he created everything in the garden, he said, be fruitful and multiply. You are created for more. You are creation itself. You are designed to carry the fruit of reproducing in like kind, life and life more abundant. You will always get more abundant, but if your focus is on how you're a jackass or how you're screwing up or what's wrong with you or what you're not, you will get more of that. If, however, your focus is on, I'm made in the image of God, I'm creation itself, I'm already in right standing, I am success. Now, guess what? You'll get more of that. Intention, attention, imagination, sensation, creating manifestation on this physical realm. Yes? So good, right? So I'm asking you, shifting your presupposition, right? What do you think about you? Who do you think you are? We're going to talk about that in a moment. But I want to pull in one other little tidbit of information. Here's the other little tidbit of information. Behind every Tom Brady is a coach that can see outside of the emotion, outside of the sensation, outside of the saboteurs, and says, I see who you really are. I see what you're capable of. I know you don't see it yet. I know you don't feel it yet. I know you don't think it yet. I know you're not behaving like it yet. However, guess what? Stick with me and I will keep reminding you who you really are, who you really are, who you really are. Yeah. I'm going to help you make adjustments in areas that you think you're functioning one way, but subconsciously you're actually functioning another. Right? You guys, over the last 2 days and the rest of today, I am going to equip you with all of the rules, all of the game, all of the presuppositions, all of the understanding. But if you don't practice and you don't have somebody, I would love for it to be me. I would love for your team to be this container. It doesn't have to be, but we're a whole lot of fun. We're pretty cool. I've been through the thick of all of this transformation. So walking alongside you would be my honor and my pleasure. Okay. So if that's not us, me in this container, that's okay. But you must have a shift in your presupposition. You must have a group of people that support you, and you must have somebody who's capable of standing outside of your stories and your emotions and your old behaviors and your programs to be able to tell you what you don't know that you don't know yet. And if that is something that you would like to join in with, I would love to set up an appointment. You can talk to me, you can talk to somebody on my team about what being in our container looks like, what offerings we have. There will be a link in the description of this video. You can reach out at emphory, emphory.com, and you can leave us a message there, support@emphory.com. You can email us there. I will have all of this information in any kind of description. You can reach out and you can say, yes, I need to be a part of this container. And I would like a coach, not a coach that has only looked from the outside and has learned what to say. But yes, I want a coach who's been through it. Yes, I want a coach who's still going through it at some level. Yes, I want real life. Yes, I want authenticity. Yes, I want to be able to show up in a container where I can go, I'm fucking crazy today. And having a group of women go, yes, get it out of your body. Yes, we support you. Right? If you're looking for something like that, we invite you to come and play with us, get the information. We'll tell you all about it. Okay? And if it's not us, go find it. Go find it. Because I guarantee you, up until his very last Super Bowl, Tom Brady had a team behind him and a coach to help. I love you. Okay. All of that said, let's learn some of the rules and guidelines behind how to do this thing called life. Presupposition. It's a game, guys. It's supposed to be fun. Now, what position do you play? Because, guys, there's rules. So you can totally smash somebody who has the ball. Even if somebody misses the ball in football, there's people who can still tackle them. But if you do that to the quarterback, it's different. Different rules for different positions, right? You can tackle one guy, but you can't tackle another. The ball has to be within 5 feet. I don't know, all kinds of things. Okay. There's actually people who can't catch the ball, right? Different rules for different positions. That's what we're going to talk about today. So, guys, our identity is unchanging. You are made in the image of God. That is unchanging. God said, let there be light, and there was light. That's your identity. Now, what we say, let there be chaos, and there was chaos. Let there be people who reject me, and there's people who reject you. Are you catching on? You are manifesting as creator every single second of every single day because you're that motherfucking powerful. Now, the game is to shift. Well, what's my intention? Well, where's my attention? Well, can I change what I'm imagining? And how do I shift the sensation based on all of that and the purpose that I came to the planet to play, right? Your identity is unchanging. The roles that you play are everything other than your identity, which means guess what? Guess what? The minute that in your mother's womb, there was a wiener that popped out or a vagina that was conceived or created, roles. This is not your identity. Wiener, vagina, not your identity. Your identity is unchanging. Your role, wiener, vagina. Your role, Lori. Your role, Kim, Stephanie, George, Pete. My identity is not Greek. My role is Greek. My identity is not the youngest child. My role is the youngest child. My identity. Okay, this one, guys, you're welcome. Sometimes God pops things into my head and I'm like, really? You want me to say that? He's like, yeah, it'll be funny. My role is not a compromise. Or my identity is not a compromise. My role is a compromise. My dad wanted 5 children. My mom wanted 3. And so they compromised on me. My identity is not that compromise. My role is a compromise. Okay. My identity is not someone who went through most of my life with an undiagnosed learning disability and thought I was stupid. That's just a role that I came to play. My identity is not I've been married and divorced 3 times. That's a role that I came to the planet to play. Guys, guess how I know I came to the planet to play that role? Because I played that role. Right? I could argue with the fact, no, I didn't come to the planet to be divorced 3 times. God says I'm perfect and blah. We're going to talk today about 100% human, 100% spirit, the difference between identity and role. We're going to talk about all that today, right? But guess what? I am someone who has been married 3 times and divorced 3 times. Therefore, that was part of God's perfect plan. Hear me well on this one, you guys. I'm getting a little emotional because this is how we get fucked up in our identity, guys. We think something's wrong with us because of the role that we came to play. We think that the quarterback is actually more important than the receiver. We think that the quarterback or the receiver is more important than the offensive line. No, no. Those are just the roles. The identity is the energy of life. And now what roles do we play? I came to the planet. I didn't make any mistakes. I didn't fuck up my marriages. My ex-husbands didn't fuck anything up. We came to the planet to play those roles. Maybe I understand some of it. Maybe I'll never understand some of it. But I can sit on the presupposition that God's perfect plan is playing out, or I can continue to eat off the knowledge or the tree of the knowledge of good and evil and think I did something wrong. They did something wrong. Something went wrong. I am sitting here as the greatest version of myself. Married 3 times, divorced 3 times, broken families a little bit with my kids. And it is motherfucking perfect. Because from this moment, I get to be an example of overcoming, of resilience, of love. I am still good friends with my first ex-husband. I am still in acquaintance with my second ex-husband. My third ex-husband, it's a little fresher, so we're still working on that. But I remember one day when I was married to my third husband, I have a child with my first husband and a child with my second husband. And my third husband was a pastor. And I remember we were sitting in church and he gave so much love to both my ex-husbands that they became friends. They were like so tight. And I remember one day sitting at church in the front row, guys, in the front row. It was my husband, me, my child, my first ex-husband, my other child, and my second ex-husband. Are you fucking kidding me? Who does that? God. Only God does that. That is the power of redemption, of forgiveness, of resilience, of focus on I'm already in right standing and nothing has gone wrong. And what a beautiful example of what's possible to other people who are in opposition with their spouses, ex-spouses, children's baby daddies, mommy daddies. And to be able to see a picture of a family of a husband, 2 ex-husbands, and 2 kids, all sitting in the first row of church. Are you fucking kidding me? So good. I don't understand all of the reasons that I play the roles that I play, but I don't focus on that. I focus on my identity. And from there, everything else takes care of itself. Okay, so let's chat. Guys, God gave me this. It was really cool. A little bit more background so that you know like where this came from and why it's so cool. So I've been going to counseling since I think I was in 6th grade. And I found Jesus at 34. I'd been going to church for a long time, but found Jesus at 34. It's where he met me in the midst of my second divorce. And I was separated from my second husband, and I had 2 kids from 2 different marriages. And I thought I was, a lost cause. And that's where Jesus met me. And in that moment, I recognized that my whole life I had been trying to be significant. And the only place I could ever find my significance was in Christ. And I poured into that, and I loved Jesus, and I went to church all the time. And I was so grateful that I went to a church that was big enough that there was something every day, because I was like an alcoholic in the way that my mind was so broken that I would say, if I could just make it to the next Bible study, if I could just make it to the next church service, I'll be okay. Right. Because I didn't know I was okay already yet. But this is the journey, right? I knew if I could make it to the next thing, I would be okay. And And then as always, God elevated me into leadership, and I started teaching, and then God shifted some of the ways that I see God and church and religion and who he was and the power of who he was. And I grew, and I was teaching all of these things, and I started teaching about how to live this life of, joy and abundance. And yet all the while, the behind the scenes was this underlying, I'll call it depression, because that's the word that I have, because I had been diagnosed with lots of different I've been diagnosed with lots of different things in my mental state. And one of them happened to be clinical depression. And so that was this underlying thing, though I was teaching, and I was training, and I was mentoring women. And but underlying this was this depression. And I kept thinking, but if I could get it right, if I could learn God enough, if I could surrender to Jesus enough, then this depression would go away. And it wasn't going away, and I didn't understand. And then one day I remember sitting there just pleading to God, like, I just, like, is it ever going to go away? How do I know you more so it'll go away? And all of a sudden he said, Lori, you're made in my image. And Jesus is an example of that. He said 100% God, 100% human. You're 100% God and 100% human. And I was like, well, if that's true, presupposition, right? Are you guys catching this? Presupposition. If my presupposition is broken, if my presupposition is not yet seen to me yet, I function from that presupposition, right? The new presupposition is, Lori, you're made in my image, 100% God, 100% human. 100% spirit, 100% human, right? And I sat there and I went, well, if that's true, then I can be perfected in Christ at the same time that I have depression. My human can experience depression while my spirit experiences my finished work on the cross, my redemption in Christ. And I can have depression. And I thought, oh my gosh, what if I came to the planet to actually teach this idea of I am already redeemed in Christ, and I also have depression that I work through every day? What if both can be true? And I went to bed that night feeling a power and a rest in my soul that I had never felt before. And then I woke up the next day. And guys, that depression was gone. Gone. Now, here's what's really funny. There's a verse in the Bible that says, as a dog returns to his vomit. So guys, guess what I started doing? I wonder where that went. Oh, I wonder where the depression is, right? Then I couldn't find it. And I went, okay, God, if you can tell me what just happened to me, that is going to really save a lot of people. That, whatever you did to me, if I can communicate that, help me to understand what happened, because I'd been praying for it to go away. I'd been going to healing services. I'd been doing all the things, and it hadn't gone away until something changed in my presupposition. Right now, I'm not saying that it's going to go away for everyone, but I surrendered to that being something wrong with me, and then it no longer manifested in my life. But here's the thing, you guys, if I had woke up the next morning with the depression, that would have been okay too. Because in that moment that I fell asleep, I knew that it was well with my soul, and I was already okay whether I had depression or not. Yes? Okay. So then over the next few months, God started revealing to me, oh, Lori, there's laws of the human and the spirit. There's laws of how nature plays out. So let's look. And I'm just going to read through a handful of these. This has been refined, and I have limited it to 36, or created a format of 36. I'm just going to read a few. On the human side is seen. On the spirit side is unseen. On the human side is physical. On the spirit side is non-physical. On the human side is birth and death. On the spirit side is life. On the human side is finite. On the spirit side is infinite. On the human side is limited. On the spirit side is unlimited. Let's find some really cool ones that maybe are harder to grasp. On the human side, everything is different. On the spirit side, everything is the same. On the human side, we function and the law is pattern. On the spirit side, the law is choice. On the human side, we're givers. On the spirit side, we're receivers. I like this one. On the human side is grace. On the spirit side is law. On the human side is effect. On the spirit side is cause. On the human side is something. On the spirit side is actually nothing. That's one of my favorite ones to talk about because that's the ones where people go, wait, no, wait, explain that more. On the human side, we have free will. On the spirit side, we have destiny. Okay, so there's 36 of these. This is the law. This is the isness. Now, I'm not saying this is the final. This is like, the culmination. I'm saying this is what God gave me to understand my identity and how I can be complete and perfect in Christ while at the same time possibly have depression, possibly have rage, envy, greed, and at the same time being complete in Christ. Okay? Because there are two parts of me active, and the it is well with my soul is where I allow those two things to both be happening simultaneously. It's a narrow road, guys. It's a wide road to look at, this is linear, life is linear, everything is linear, existence is linear. It's wide to go, it's non-linear. Look, we're just all cosmic creations. Everything is energy. It's all making both of those fit into this thing called my body simultaneously. That's a narrow road. And now, guys, guess what? Now, when I look again at these 36 ways, the isness that the law of life works, and now as a human, I have to practice. Practice. There are 12 practices. I'm going to read through these practices. Now, why are they practices? This always is. Our principles, they always are. They just are. Whether you like it, whether you believe it, whether you don't believe it, whether you're consciously aware, whether you're not consciously aware, this is the isness. This is the blueprint. The practice, however, is the phases of consciousness, the evolution of consciousness from coming into Adam, being born again into my spiritual understanding of who I am as a spirit and a body, a spirit and a human, and then evolving into this place where everything gets to exist simultaneously. These are the practices. So as I read these, you might go, I totally believe that. Okay, but there's going to be more. There's going to be more believing in that. Why? Because that's the life and life more abundant. Yes, we cognitively understand these, and we are always growing in a greater level in consciousness, believing embodiment, integration of these things, which then manifests a different experience based on the ever evolving shift in our presupposition based on I'm 100% human, 100% spirit, those things together, all of it, consciousness, evolution. Yes? Okay. So everything is energy. There is only one power, and it is benevolent. You are 100% human and 100% spirit. Everything is opposite. Everything is relative to you. Everything is in constant change. You don't know what you don't know. Everything is feedback. Anything is possible. Choice is my superpower. I am okay. And ultimately, I can't screw this up. So this has become my presupposition for how I play this game called life. And sometimes I play different roles. And sometimes I'm better at roles. I'm less good at roles. Sometimes I'm on offense. Sometimes I'm on defense. Sometimes I'm playing on this side. Sometimes I'm playing a good team. Sometimes I'm playing a bad team. But at the end of the day, if this is my presupposition, it's just a game and I'm already okay. I'm already in right standing, right? I think of the story of Jesus when he met the woman caught in adultery and everyone was ready to stone her, right? And he said a few words and everyone dropped their rocks and walked away. And then he looked at her, and he's looked at me lots of times and said, where are your accusers? Because sometimes those saboteurs might judge, that critical voice. You should have done this. You should have done that. That should have been different. You should be more. You're not enough. You're too fat. You're too lazy. You don't plan out what you say. You just show up. You're too impulsive. But the voice of Jesus says, let me say a few words, talks to my saboteurs. And then he talks to me and he says, hey, worry. Where are your accusers? Ah, and what did she say? There are none, Lord. There are none. He says, cool, go and live from that place. Live from the place that you're already in right standing. Live from the place that you are already perfected in me. And now go do life. Go do life. Am I going to make mistakes? Well, I'm going to have experiences. Yeah. And now I can eat off the tree of the knowledge of good and evil and actually like call it good or bad, right or wrong. But remember day one, my imagination, my attention, right? I can leave my attention to what I did wrong. I can create in my imaginations all the things I should have done better, all the ways that I messed up, all the ways that I've hurt people, all the ways that I should be better. And then I can create a reoccurring sensation of all of that imagination of the wrongness of me. And then guess what I manifest? Yep. Because I am made in the image of creation. Yes? All right. So when we realize this is the evolution of our consciousness, this is the isness. Okay. But let's go back to something I mentioned yesterday. I may have come to the planet to live 95% in my free choice and 5% in destiny. Let me give you a little example. My kids from birth, just like my sweet little grandson, football. From birth, my son, all about football. All about football. He knows everything about every player, every skill that they have, what teams would be like, which player should play with which teams because this coach is good at this thing. He knows the ins and outs and everything about football. He's brilliant. He's strategic. He can see it before it happens. My daughter, from the minute that she saw makeup, guess what? 29 and 23 years later, my son's coaching football and my daughter is a makeup artist. Then here's Lori. Okay, so again, they both came to the planet pre-programmed for more destiny. This is just what they do, destiny, right? Lori, oh, I've done lots of things. I've done corporate, I've done training, I've had my own businesses, I've worked for other people, I've been an event planner, I did nails for forever, I trained nails forever, I owned a salon, I rented at a salon, I drove Uber for a while, I've been doing this, like I keep going, what am I on the planet for? What am I on the planet? Like all along the way, what am I supposed to do? I tried a million things, free choice, free choice, free choice, free choice. Now, there was destiny. I would always end up where I was supposed to end up, but I practiced a lot more free choice than my kids did. My kids just knew they would always end up in football and makeup, right? So if I found wrongness with me for all of my changes and all of my changing of my mind and all of the ins and outs, and oh, I did this different and I did that different, and oh, I thought it was this career and then it was this career and then I did this and then I had a job and then I had a business and then I closed my business, and I looked at my kids and I'd be like, see, something's wrong with me. Or I can go, wait a minute, based on the isness of nature, some of us came to the planet to have to live it more in destiny, and some of us came to the planet to live more in free choice. Now they're both existing, right? Because at any point in time, my kids could say, well, I'm gonna do makeup for weddings, or I'm gonna do makeup for movies, right? I'm going to coach high school, or I want to keep moving more and get higher into college and the pros. There's still choice, but their destiny pretty solid. My destiny solid, but I played more with free choice. Isness of my identity, how I navigate my identity, right? Because if I'm looking at my kids and I don't remember I can't screw this up, then guess what? I'm gonna get thwarted. I'm gonna get thrown off. I'm not gonna be able to be in alignment. So I'm gonna remember more and more. Oh, you know what? I can't screw this up. I can't screw it. It might look like I screwed it up. I might feel like I screwed it up. I might imagine that I've screwed it up. And at any point in time, I can reel that back in, come back to my identity, remember that I'm okay and that I can't screw it up. And then all of this will come into alignment with where I leave my focus and who or what I give my attention to. Yes? So, as we navigate this thing called manifesting with certainty, we need all of the information, all of the rules. I need to know how to play the game. I need to know all the different positions, right? This is all the different positions. Now, this is how to play different positions at different times and different facets of my journey, right? Because if whoever that kid was that I was talking about earlier that got moved to be a quarterback, if he had been like, no, I'm not a wide receiver, I'm not a wide, now, guys, again, I don't know the details of what part's true, but let's pretend like he was a wide receiver, right? If he had been, no, I'm not a wide receiver, I'm supposed to be a quarterback, there would have been so much friction. He wouldn't have played. He would have caused the coach to go, you're too much trouble, get off my team. And guess what else? He probably wouldn't be as great of a quarterback, because guess what? He wouldn't have been on the receiving end for all of those years, recognizing, how did I feel when the quarterback threw it here? What did I need to see? Where can I now, as the quarterback, know exactly where to place that ball for the receiver to be able to reach out or not reach out? Or if I see the opponent over here, I remember when I was a receiver, I could turn this way and I could catch the ball better. It made him a better quarterback. But if he had said, no, I'm not a receiver, I'm the quarterback, he would have never made it to the level that he made it. So when we come back to remembering you're already in right standing, you're already the very best version of you, what's showing up in front of you, right? What are you navigating? So there's the two parts. This is our spirit part. It just is. This is your identity. It's unchanging. However, everything's in constant change. Your human is linear, growing, changing, becoming a greater version of itself, being the very best version of yourself at any given moment. And there's more, right? So again, when we remember my identity and my role, now I can navigate life from the place of I'm already in right standing. And if I'm confused, if I'm in doubt, if I'm in worry, stress, anxiety, depression, all of the things that are the role, and I'm finding wrongness with it. Now, hear me well, because I'm not saying stress, anxiety, and that is wrong. I'm saying if I'm in those things and I'm perceiving the wrongness of it, I am out of the law of how it works. Now, am I still within the law of manifestation? Well, yeah, because if you're finding the wrongness of that, what you manifest will always be wrong because that's the law, right? However, if I'm in worry, stress, depression, all the things, and I go, you know what? I'm the very best version of myself. Everything's in perfect order. All of this is just number 8. Is that 8? Yeah, number 8. This is all just feedback. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just feedback. And now when we recognize it just as feedback, now from this place of I'm already okay because I'm not eating off the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. I'm not trying to figure out what's wrong. I'm going, this is all exactly the way it's supposed to be. Let me center back into it is well with my soul that I'm already in right standing. And now look outside of me and navigate from here. Yes. Sexy as fuck, right? And now, guess what? I will always manifest with certainty. Now, here's what's really cool about, and I don't know if I actually said this on day 1 or day 2, but whatever, I'm saying it again. My niece is on her way to a school in Costa Rica to learn massage. And she sends me this promotion video and she's like, Auntie, check this out. This is where I want to go. Right. And they come, they stay within this complex. They live in these little bungalows. They're right by the beach. The places that they show where they're practicing all their massage techniques are like these tents that have a top, but they're not enclosed. So they're in this beautiful tropical space. And it just was so cool and so beautiful. I'm like, man, I want to do that one day. Not with massage. I want to do it with people learning energy techniques and coaching tools and that kind of thing, right? And I'm like, that would be so cool. Could you imagine that? That would be so awesome. And I know the law. And I know the law, right? I can either be, I'm going to choose a thing, I'm going to move through it, I'm going to manifest it. Or I might be in surrender and I might go, ooh, I don't really know what I'm supposed to come to the planet for. So I need to surrender to the feedback that I'm getting from God to know, is that something I should focus on or not? Because remember, intention, attention, imagination, sensation creates manifestation. But if this thing called a wellness center where we teach energy work is not part of my manifestation on this planet, then giving it my attention would then cause me a lot of dis-ease. Do you get this? Because it doesn't align with my soul's purpose. So instead of just, oh, that would be so cool because it lights my soul up when I think about it. That would be so cool. I didn't just automatically assume and set my attention. At least I didn't this time. I've done that a lot in the past because I thought that's what I was supposed to do, right? But now I've matured. I'm more in surrender, right? So I said, hey, God, should I give my attention to this? Should I give my imagination to this? Should I create some sensation for this? And he said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. So guess what? With the detachment from it, I go, okay, cool. Supposed to give my attention and my imagination and my sensation to something else. Now, does that mean this will never be a part of my world? Not necessarily. Maybe, maybe not. But again, remember, if I'm detached, if I let go, if I'm functioning from the presupposition that I have everything that I need to be fruitful and multiply, then whether it comes or whether it doesn't come is a moot point because I'm already okay. There's no accusers. I'm living from this place of I'm already okay. Right. So maybe it'll never show up in my lifetime. but I spoke it out loud. And so somebody else is going to create it. Or I spoke it out loud and somebody who had the idea actually gets confirmation from God that they should create this and they go create it. Maybe somebody finds out that I think that would be cool. And they're like, dude, I already created that. Come on over, come work for us, share some of your gifts inside of what's already there. Or it might never come to fruition, which I don't think, because somebody out there either has created it or will create it, or it's been created or something, right? At some point in time, because I'm conceiving it. So at some point in time, it will exist, whether I'm a part of it or not, right? But even if it doesn't for me, it's well with my soul. Now, the only way I can get there is through the practice of the rules of the game and remembering that it's a game, remembering that I am made in the image of God, creation itself, that I have the power, that I'm first cause on this planet. I'm not first cause. God, the law of manifestation, the law of love, first cause. But on this planet, I'm first cause to what I create, right? And so understanding all of this is the guidance system that then, just like if I were to get in my car right now and say, I want to go to, my daughter lives in Pennsylvania, I want to go to this address in Pennsylvania. There's a lot of space, there's a lot of distance, there's a lot of time, there's a lot of miles. I got to stop for gas, I got to stop for food, I got to stop to go to the bathroom, got to stop to sleep, unless I bring somebody with me and we go back and forth, right? There's so much detail. But guess what? I don't have to know all that because I trust the GPS. I trust that if I program in the destiny, right, that the GPS is going to take me on the way, and I trust it. And I trust along the way there'll be gas stations, there'll be food places, there'll be toilets, there'll be somewhere for me to sleep. I trust all of that. And when we understand that this is no different, life is no different than how we watch it play out in sports and technology. It's no different. Now we just got to reel it in and recognize, oh, that's me. Oh, this is my identity. Oh, now I know how to play with my identity. I know how to play in my roles. I know how to navigate life. I know how to use my GPS. Now it's fun. Now it's magical. Now, there might be some traffic. There might be some road closures. There might be some flat tires. There might be some running out of gas. There might be some rear ending. There might be some, oh, I'm so tired, I got to pull over sooner than I expected. There might be some, oh, I got to pull over sooner than I expected. And so the hotel is $500 as close as I can get instead of the $299 hotel that I was going to get if I could drive the other 50 miles. There's going to be lots of things in between. But if my presupposition is that I'm already okay, I can't screw this up, I'm made in the image of love, therefore I am loved and I am love, then all of the details don't really mean anything. They don't mean anything. They're just the experience that I came to the planet to experience. I am so grateful that you guys would spend the last hour and 9 minutes with me. I'm so grateful if you have spent the last 3 days with me. I am so grateful for your trust. I'm so grateful for your heart. I'm so grateful that God would use me to express and carry and share such a beautiful, life-giving message. I want to cry right now because, guys, I've had this message for quite a few years. And my perfectionistic saboteur got in the way. My fear of rejection got in the way. My past hurts got in the way. And to be the version of me in this moment that moved through all of that, that navigated and overcame all of that, to live the freedom that I live today is nothing short of a miracle that I am so grateful for every day. And if I could help even one person walk that journey to a greater level of freedom and self-love and intimacy with our Papa, it's all been worth it. It's all been worth it. So I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. Please, if this message resonates with you and you want some more, we have everything in our container from $35 to unlimited, right? But there is a price point for everyone. We will get you in our container in any way that we can. There's a ton of free videos on our YouTube channel. Empowered Abundance is our YouTube channel. There is a ton of different videos. There's lives, there's shorts, there's podcasts, there's all kinds of things. There's free stuff. There's stuff that you can invest in. There's one-on-one, there's group, there's guys, if you need it, we have it for you. God has made it perfectly clear, and he's made it easy on my end to make sure that I have spaces for everyone to fit in however I can serve them best, whatever they are ready for. Because you guys, not everybody is ready for this kind of message. Not everybody is ready to actually step into being that loved. We think we can, we think we're ready, but if we're not doing it, we're not ready. So not everybody is ready. Not everybody is ready to step out of their cognitive mind and go, wait, two opposing things can be true at the same time inside of this one physical body. Not everybody's ready for that because they're still functioning from their cognitive, which is totally okay, because that is a state of consciousness that we all started with, that, or we are a part of in this human body, right? That's just part of the plan. Right? So in whatever facet that I can serve you, please reach out. Let's chat. Let's see where you fit in. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for doing all of the physical things that need to happen for us to get this message out there. We're grateful. We're grateful to have you on this journey with us. And I'd love to see what continues to open up and continue our journey together. So with that, I will bid you adieu for the day. And I hope to chat with any of you very soon.